There are thousands of DOS games. Most of them are terrible. I play one selected at random with a 20-minute time limit and record it live. This is the result. Hello everyone, welcome back to the new Random DOS Game Show. And this week we have a game from SmithWare. It said 1993 down there, which is kind of interesting because most of the sources I found said 1994 for when this game came out, but so a bit of a discrepancy on the dates. But we have Yendorian Tales Book 1. It's kind of a neat little title screen there. And about the authors. Look at that, they all have the name Smith for the last name. And SmithWare was the development team's name. So I strongly suspect, especially since there's a Rodney R. Smith and Rod Smith II, that these are family members. This is like a single family that decided to make a computer game together. So that's kind of neat. Let's go ahead and proceed, I guess. I think you click this. Okay, we have an introductory text here for the setting. As recently as 100 years ago, the land of Thane was ruled by individuals who were more concerned for their personal wealth than the welfare of their subjects. Constant conflicts between these kingdoms resulted in much bloodshed throughout the land. Although each ruler desired more land, no one dared venture near the mist beyond the Gorian Sea. Ooh, look at that. The picture's animated, and that's the mist in question. The long-standing belief of the time was that the mist bordered the edge of the world. However, a group of men who were endowed with magical capabilities challenged this belief and sailed toward the mist. In the course of their journey through the mist, the young wizards realized that it was a natural phenomenon that surrounded a large island. Ooh, that's a nice little transition there. This land came to be known as Yendor. Now that's a familiar sounding name. I'll explain once I'm done with this. Here they established a form of government where citizens were not abused by their leaders. Because of this, many people soon fled from Thane to make their home in the new land. Yendor quickly became the envy of the world as towns sprang up and commerce flourished throughout the island. Yendor also became known as a place to receive an education. Okay, I don't know if I'm going to read all of this. I don't know how long it is, and it's going into some detail about said education, and okay, let's just proceed. If you're curious, you can pause the video and read this on your own time, but something about mining is, I guess, big on Yendor, so all right. But there's been an increase in monster attacks. Okay, so they're looking for brave adventurers to deal with these monster incursions. So there's the plot in a nutshell for you, I suppose. But here we are, table of contents. I guess this is the main menu. That's kind of a neat touch. It's made out to look like a book here, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, and such, and open book is play, and bookmarker is save, restore, and close the book is to quit. I think we need to create some characters first and foremost, though. So I'll go ahead and do that. I'll go ahead and start the timer, I guess. And give a prompt. And how do I create a member? Okay, here we go. Yeah, okay. So let's go with male for the first character. Class, minor, rogue, cleric pupil, wizard pupil, and back to minor. Interesting. So I guess minor is this game's version of like a warrior or something. Oh, we got some... Yeah, okay, so we got some different player avatars to pick from. Some of these don't look like minors, though. I think some of these would be better for some of the other classes. Let's go back to this guy. This guy looks like he would be a minor character. Let's see. Name. Well, I guess this will be my character, B Manzel N. And it's giving us some stats, but look at this. There's some dice. I bet if I click that, yes, so this is very much like an old school RPG where you roll some dice to figure out the stats for your character. Before I forget, though, I was going to mention that Yendor, the reason why that's familiar is for anyone who's played Rogue or any of the rogue-like games, they'll know that for a number of those titles, the Amulet of Yendor is the ultimate prize for the player character. So I'm willing to bet that that's a reference or an homage of sorts to that. But anyway, this looks okay, I guess. You probably want a high strength value. Took us back out. Oh, okay. So I guess we have to create multiple party members from scratch here. Okay, well, let's go with a female this time. How about a cleric? And sure, why not? That's fine. And how about just Cynthia, I guess? That's fine for a name. And they probably want a high intelligence since they're probably going to be a spellcaster. Can I get it above? Yeah, 54 is pretty good, I think. Um, I might end up pausing for a second and pausing the recording as well because this character creation might take a little while. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. And it looks like it allowed me to create up to 6 party members. So that's pretty substantial. And I think we're ready. So let's assemble the party members, I suppose, right? Is that what we have to do? Yeah. Okay, let's do that. Assembling the party. And let's open book to play. And we're in. And one thing I am instantly struck by is the choice of perspective. This is top down, but it's angled a bit, so you can still see some of the details of the objects and people. And this, right off the bat, reminds me a heck of a lot of the Ultima games, specifically Ultima 7, which uses this exact same perspective. So that makes sense because I believe Ultima 7 came out a couple years before this game, so it wouldn't surprise me at all if this was inspired by Ultima 7, at least partly. And I can tell right away by that impact sound trying to, or being blocked by the wall, that this is using PC speaker sound. So, and interesting, when your player character walks over a bench there or a stool here, they automatically sit on it. That's kind of a nice touch. Not sure if it makes any difference, but it's kind of neat that they went out of their way to make a different sprite for that. It looks like we have a bunch of different commands here. And yeah, so this is the party information. This is what I assembled for the party. I went for 3 miners, a rogue, and a couple of clerics and wizards. So what I like to think is a well-balanced party, and the casters have the magic stat here, but the miners and the rogue do not, since they are not magically attuned. So pretty straightforward in that regard, I think. And let's go ahead and try some of these commands here. So far, I'm controlling everything with the mouse. I wonder, though, yes, you can control via the numpad, although, yeah, if you press and hold in a direction, the player character will walk however long you held down, so it's actually probably better that you just stick with the mouse, because it's actually a bit more responsive that way. So is this to... This is, I'm sure, to look, right? You see a bottle and a mug, yes. Let's look at this NPC. You see a tavern keeper, ugh. Oh, oh. I think the text is kind of bugged or glitched because this is I think the end of the previous thing talking about the mug here. Hopefully that doesn't cause too much confusion over the course of this playthrough. What is this? Gold coins and a lockpick set. You'll need an empty chest before you can do that. Oh, okay. So I guess it's if you wanted to place items somewhere. And Gold coins. Process Noir. Is that like a fantasy mineral or something? Mining is supposed to be a big part of Yendor after all. Okay, so gold coins. Quantity to drop. Oh no, 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 no. I don't want to drop anything. Okay, so that's the drop command, obviously. Well, let's just talk. Let's talk to this fellow here. Uh Ends are becoming good. Oh boy. I think this text is let's see. Those nasty mines ep out of, oh boy. That's unfortunate. That's very unfortunate. The text bug is making it hard to communicate here. What will it be for have a nice day? Okay, well, that was legible at least. Uh Hello? Oops. Might help if I spelled hello correctly. Let's try that again. Hello. Nasty mines. I guess they're saying keep out of those nasty mines or something, but kind of hard to understand. Well, yeah, well, that's unfortunate. I'm not sure how far I'm going to get then because I don't know if I need to interact. I don't know if I need to interact to buy equipment before I set off into the wilderness, but hello. Nice day. Couldn't help have a, oh, geez. Oh, and they left. And you're over here now. Okay. And whoop. Oh, wait a minute. So the party will sleep automatically in beds as well, I guess. So interesting. The person we were talking to, though, has moved over here. So the NPCs do move around a bit. Makes me wonder if they have schedules or something, because here he is. He's manning the counter again. But Um, before I waste too much time, though, because we're already halfway through, I was kind of afraid this was going to happen. Okay, so that's the exit. I was kind of afraid this was going to happen. This is one of those games where I feel like I'm not going to be able to get far enough to get really a good indication in just 20 minutes whether this is worth your time or not. But, well, since that's how to exit, let's just go ahead and venture out into the wilderness and we'll just take the lumps as it happens. And speaking of lumps, I think this is an enemy. It's like a giant ant. Yes, preparing for battle. Okay. So it looks like it's switched to like some sort of tactical battle screen here. So we have some bugs, and here's our party members. So am I controlling this gentleman here? Looks like it. Let's move up. Okay, so it looks like this is kind of turn-based. Let's do that. And I guess I'm controlling the person with the yellow cape. Who are these people anyway? I've already forgotten. So that was Gundar that I just controlled. And this is Harold. And you are Bethany. Okay. Can you hit them? See, and I think this is my character, B Man's LN. Can you hit them from there? Maybe I have to do that. Yeah, I do. Okay. The ant loses 3 points. Okay. Who am I controlling right now? Okay, that guy. Let's do that. Uh-oh. Tumnus loses 2 points. And I'm controlling Cynthia right now. Okay. How about you go ahead? Can you strike diagonally? You can. Okay. The ant dies. Hey. All right. We're actually holding our own a little bit here. Yeah, we're controlling. I think that's. Is that? Yeah, that's Gundar again. Let's go ahead and hit that ant. I'm not sure if that did anything. Maybe they missed. Okay. Can you... I see. I guess you can't walk over that. Bethany loses 1 point. Who are we controlling now? I missed it. Cynthia. Okay. Cynthia, you'll move over here. Back to Gundar again. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe Gundar isn't hitting because he's a caster. I'm probably supposed to be using this, aren't I? Probably. Well, okay. Live and learn. So you go over there. Are you a caster? Bethany is not a caster. Okay. So you need to just strike them with your weapon. Boom. The ant loses 1 point. Who am I controlling now? Controlling my character. Trying to get into range here. Cynthia is getting hit, though. Need to be taking a lot of the enemy's attacks. This. You don't have magic either. You just gotta close the distance as best you can. Bethany loses 3 points. Ouch. Bethany is down to 7. Gundar's down to 5. All right, so you... Okay. All right, so you do have a heal spell. How about heal Bethany or Gundar? Heal... Let's heal Gundar since he's the worst. Worst shape. There we go. Okay, all right, so I'm kind of getting the hang of this. Back to Gundar. And okay, Gundar is a caster. There we go. Magic Missile. Now there's a classic spell if there ever was one. A D&D staple if I'm not mistaken. Did that do anything? I'm not sure if that did anything. Who am I controlling now? Harold. Okay. So, oh no, I didn't mean for you to move. That was a misclick. That's unfortunate. Oh well. So, go ahead and just strike. I think you might have missed. And B-Man's LN. The ant loses 2 points. There we go. Now we're back to Tumnus again. Can you get close enough to actually hit them, please? Bethany loses 2 points. Who am I controlling again? The character selection flashes so quickly that it's easy to miss there. In the thick of things. Gonna have to heal probably Bethany this time around. There we go. And you try that magic missile again. I don't know. It doesn't seem to do anything. All right, well, you head back. Yeah, and you're not a magic user, so you just do that. And who we got now? Okay, my character. Boom. Okay, so we're down to just one flying ant, right? Is that what we're dealing with now? Tumnus, you don't have magic, so can you just hit that? Oh, it's a wasp. Okay. Fair enough. And go ahead and heal Gundar. He needs it the most. And I'll probably call it after this battle. So the battle is a bit unwieldy, I do have to admit. But I get what they're going for with this. You just hit that to end it? Nah. Not really. There we go. And right, not a magic user. There we go. Okay. Enemies taken care of. Can we... No, that's not what I'm looking for. We just pick that up? Okay. There was no trap. Oh, that's fortunate. And okay. Oh, okay. So here is the loot, I guess. Gold Gold coins, processed noir, arrows, and copper shield. Let's just take it all. Why not? And let's go ahead and grab this while we're at it. There was no trap. Good. And some more gold. Okay. And can we mosey on out of here? Where is my cursor? My cursor seems to have disappeared, but fortunately I can still control via the keyboard. Are you certain that you want to leave? Yes. And my cursor is no longer showing up at all, I think. But while we're in the party screen, I see. Okay, so that's how you equip things. Armor, cloth armor, shield. You can give looks like you can give whoever you want the copper shield too. So that indicates to me that items may not be restricted by player classes, possibly, because for quite a few RPGs, oh, there's my cursor. Nice of you to show up again. But I know in some RPGs, at least, the gear is restricted to certain classes and such. But doesn't look like that's the case in this game. Maybe. Let's go ahead and test that, actually. Let's go down to the shield, unequip. And let's try giving it to Cynthia. Okay. Never mind. I'm trying to equip the shield for her, but she can't take it. So this is class restricted after all. Okay, well, I'll just give it to myself. Why not? Let's see. No, maybe I can't. Maybe, oh, because you're still wielding it? Oh, okay. I was doubly mistaken. I had forgotten to unequip it from Bethany, and Cynthia, despite her being a cleric, is now wielding it. So yeah, no, there are no class restrictions to equipment. So that might be a plus or a minus, depending on your preferences, but all right, well, that'll about do it, I think. The 20-minute timer is just about up. So that's Yendorian Tales Book 1, a game that's essentially a pastiche of gameplay and narrative elements from games like Ultima 7, Lord of the Rings Volume 1, and even the original Rogue. Now, I certainly wouldn't place this game on the same pedestal as those influential titles. If I'm being brutally honest, I would probably say this game is mediocre at best. It's got a lot of rough edges, the most egregious of which being that darn text bug. You're going to have a heck of a time interacting with the NPCs in this game, including potentially important ones like quest givers and merchants. And there are other rough patches as well, the lack of music, the kind of clunky controls and interface. And so because of that, yeah, I have a hard time recommending this. But I guess when you keep in mind that this was made by a 3-man dev crew who were essentially family members, then you might be willing to give this game some more leniency based off of that. And hey, if you're the type of person who's willing to put up with a lot of jank to potentially get to some meaty gameplay, then there might be something to enjoy by this game. And if you want to see more Random DOS game coverage, be sure to check out the other videos on the channel, as well as Lonnie's original run in our playlists. And if you like what you see, consider subscribing. That's all for now, and until next time, take care everyone.